Hello there, good evening indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a great and productive Monday, a great start to your week as well. Now welcome to Edition. These are the headlines. Experts and researchers demonstrate that the government of Burundi's accusations towards Rwanda are baseless and ignores Rwanda's assistance in addressing Burundi's safety challenges. Residents across the country have expressed their readiness to follow the 19th National Dialogue Council, Umushyikirano. Good evening to you once again, and we are glad to have your company. As we start off tonight's edition, let us inform you that on Monday, Rwanda's Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente was received by his Ugandan counterpart, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja. Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente represented President Paul Kagame at the just concluded Non-Aligned Movement and G77 and China summits in Kampala, Uganda. The two officials praised the warm diplomatic relations between Rwanda and Uganda and discussed potential areas of increased cooperation and collaboration. The meeting was also attended by other officials from various ministries and agencies. Moving ahead to other matters, experts and researchers demonstrate that the government of Burundi's accusations towards Rwanda are baseless and ignores Rwanda's assistance in addressing Burundi's safety challenges, specifically handling over Red Tabara militias in various times. In addition, it is evident a support of Burundi to FLN, a rebel group that destabilized Rwanda in the previous years. We do have the details with Adam Squizera.
Hate speeches and divisionism of Burundi's higher officials is concerning but again denounced by experts when it comes to accusations that Rwanda supports Red Tabara. On 21st January, President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi reiterated that he will support Congolese youth in overthrowing Rwanda's government. Gatete Nyiringabo Ruhumuriza, an author and analyst, demonstrates that such a statement is harsh when made by a head of state.
I think
that he is first to support himself in terms of knowing what to say and what not. Again, if it is to support Rwandan youth, what will her support us in flopping us to where Burundi is heading or heading to where DRC is heading? In 2020, Rwanda handed over to Burundi 19 Red Tabara rebels as a sign of demonstrating that Rwanda is against this rebel group. Since 2018, the government of Rwanda continued to arrest FLN rebels, made their plans of destabilizing Rwanda, especially in the southern and western parts of the country. Most of these rebels possessed military equipments of the Burundian army. Political analysts demonstrated that such statements are rooted from the genocide ideologies of Burundi and DRC officials. Dr. Alphonse Molefu, a legal scholar and analyst, demonstrates that whatever threats imposed by the Burundian government could not frighten Rwanda because war threats cannot address Burundians' current challenges. War threats are usually done from fear one has mostly. It is because the one threatening thinks that the threat will let one do something in his will, yet is not the case. And what is unclear up to now is that what the government of Burundi wants, that if not done by Rwanda, the war could rise. Dr. Murefu also reiterates that the bigger number of the international armies in DRC is not the answer to the instabilities in this country, especially in the eastern DRC. The statement of the president of Burundi follows the closure of the country's borders with Rwanda. The government of Burundi accuses Rwanda to support the Red Tabara rebels, as the government of Rwanda rejects the Burundi's accusations, reiterating that they are baseless and is not associated in any way with any Burundian armed group.
The Chief of General Staff of the Mozambique Armed Forces, Admiral Joachim Mangris, visited the Rwanda Defense Force headquarters, where he was welcomed by the RDF Chief of Staff, General Mubarak Muganga. They engaged in bilateral discussions aimed at enhancing the current relations between the two military forces. Admiral Mangaris also paid a courtesy call to the Minister of Defense, Honorable Juvenal Madizamunda. Speaking after the visit, Admiral Mangaris noted that discussions focused on expanding existing areas of cooperation in defense and security.
Nós viemos aqui a convite do meu irmão, General Mubarak.
We came here by the invitation of our brother, the CDS of Rwanda.
Primeiro, transmitimos os nossos cumprimentos.
And we have transmitted our salutations.
Para o ano de 2024, que haja muita saúde.
For the new year of 2024, that deserving him good health.
E a saúde da nossa cooperação.
And the health of our cooperation.
Para que o combate ao terrorismo continue a ter níveis que atingimos e melhorarmos mais.
Deserving that the fighting against the terrorism should remain strong and it has to go forward until that we win.
E passamos em revista todos esses domínios.
And we take in consideration all regarding to terrorism fighting.
E também a nossa cooperação em vários domínios.
And we took in account our cooperation in different domains.
Essencialmente o treino, que é a formação,
training,
exercícios conjuntos,
joint exercise,
e como combatermos o nosso inimigo, que é o terrorismo.
And the way how to continue to fight our enemy, which is the terrorism in Cabo Delgado.
The Chief of General Staff of the Mozambique Armed Forces and his delegation are in Rwanda for a two-day working visit. Rwanda Defense Force and the Mozambique Armed Forces have strengthened their collaboration through ongoing efforts reflecting on deepening relationship and aimed at fostering regional security and solidarity against common threats. To the National Dialogue Council Mushyikirano, which is close and ahead, residents across the country have expressed their readiness to follow the 19th National Mushyikirano Dialogue Council. Economic experts as well as political analysts recognize the council as a catalyst for development, highlighting that discussions held at this level are consistently implemented.
The local residents expressed that they view the National Mushyikirano as a platform where decisions are not only made but also effectively implemented.
It's
a good thing, since it's where we share our ideas and ask the implementation process of the government programs, which makes us feel included in the activities of our country. This National Dialogue Council Mushyikirano is going to happen for the 19th time, but there are also various activities that happen due to this National Council of Mushyikirano. For example, the establishment of 9 and 12 years basic education, as was an idea that came up from Mushyikirano Council, as we even now see its results to the Rwandans. These reasons, particularly the youth, emphasize the need for specific discussions in the upcoming National Mushyikirano Council scheduled to kick off on Tuesday. For me, I think that in this year's Mushyikirano, there should be an establishment of youth incubation centers across the districts, which can help us to work easily. Economic analyst Habyarimana Sirato points out that the National Mushyikirano Council has been implementing various images that have contributed significantly to the development of the country. Umurenge Sacco is one of the decisions taken in National Umushyikirano Council. Now take a look on the effectiveness of Sacco. Apparently, Umushyikirano concerns many institutions, as it's a good platform for the residents to ask their leaders the implementation process. For example, the issues related to public transport and irembo services. Therefore, all this shows how valuable are the ideas of local residents in the country's development.
ushobora kuba uzavamo imyanzuro idasanzwe izayobora u Rwanda mu yindi myaka 30 iri imbere.
On Tuesday, there will be a kickoff of this year's 19th National Dialogue Council Umushyikirano, a forum in which Rwandans discuss issues of national importance, with the meeting set to discuss national development, unity, and youth empowerment. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Still on Umushyikirano, specifics now, agriculture. The 18th National Dialogue Council Umushyikirano was an opportunity to reflect on the government programs and recognize or reorganize efforts to fast-track their implementation. The gathering came up with 13 resolutions, all aimed at bettering citizens' welfare and ushering the country into set targets in different fields. The dialogue resolved to boost agriculture and livestock productivity, focusing on access to finance for farmers, facilitating farmers increasing milk production, sensitizing farmers to employ agriculture insurance scheme, and responding to crop pests and diseases. While speaking to RBA, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Musafiri Ildefonse, highlighted some of the achievements in line with the dialogue resolutions.
cyo kugira ngo abantu bagere ku mafaranga ahendutse.
On the first one of helping farmers acquire affordable loans, we initiated the SIDAT project worth 55 billion Rwandan francs. The first phase of the project, worth 15 billion Rwandan francs, have already been given through the Development Bank of Rwanda, and then commercial banks can access the money to lend to farmers. Since the start of the project, at least 2.5 billion Rwandan francs have been given to farmers, and 13 billion Rwandan francs worth of loans for farmers are being assessed and processed as we speak. That follows other projects that we have, including a matching grant, where farmers are given 50% of the agricultural capital they need. That continued as well. We have other projects like SAIP, RDDP, that involves animal rearing and milk production. We also have 13 billion Rwandan francs that will be channeled through BDF, where farmers with profitable projects will be supported. In this project, when your capital is 200 million Rwandan francs and you have 100 million, let's say, PDF grants the rest. Through all these projects, last year alone, we supported 1,300 farmers, and this is still going on. On facilitating farmers in increasing milk production, Minister Musafiri noted that measures to sensitize for and cowshed farming were put in place, particularly in the eastern province of Rwanda.
Mukongera umukamo w'amata twaratekereje dusanga tugomba kuzana uburyo budasanzwe.
When increasing milk production, we thought of new measures. First, some people thought that the Rwandan breeds are not very productive, but that's not right. They are poorly fed, which is why we took measures that can help improve feeding and rearing in general. The other issue was diseases like foot and mouth disease, cattle ticks, and others that came with cows moving around for pasture, which is why we introduced cow sheds, especially in the eastern province where the issue was mostly prevalent. Moving ahead, Rwandans across the country expressed that the program of cooperation and collaboration in the healthcare is one of the most significant decisions made in the National Dialogue Council Umushyikirano, a decision that will be etched in the memories of Rwandans.
Uzi yuko abantu bari bafite uburyo bwo kwivuza n'abakozi ba leta gusa bakeya cyane.
Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana was among the participants of the first National Umushyikirano Council in 2003. He knows that this dialogue is the result of ideas and discussions that have been going on for a long time among various Rwandans, brought forward by the leaders and the RPF Inkotanyi.
Navuga yuko yunganira, ahubwo navuga yuko ari isoko, ni isoko
Comparing it to others, there was a summit that was called National Conference, but it used to be once in the meantime. Then in Rwanda, they said that our people have to get involved in their leadership. We have to regulate it annually and revise the decisions made, if they were implemented or not. Like if there are even some mistakes, should be demonstrated and know how it was made. The National Dialogue Council Umushyikirano is governed by the Article 168 of the Constitution. Local residents emphasize the significance of the resolutions and decisions made, pointing out their importance as they are meant to be implemented. The National Dialogue Council Umushyikirano is also regarded as a sign of democratic development, as decisions are made through consultations with various institutions. It's an opportunity for all Rwandans. But the most impressive one is that they have a visionary leader, or that it's a uniqueness itself. On Tuesday, there will be a kickoff of this year's 19th National Dialogue Council Umushyikirano, a forum in which Rwandans discuss issues of national importance, with the meeting set to discuss national development, unity, and youth empowerment. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Residents in different parts of the country demonstrate that even though internet price was decreased compared to the previous years, it is not yet as fast as to the satisfying rate. They urge institutions in charge to address this issue, as it is one of the resolutions adopted in the 18th National Dialogue Council. Prince Manzi with more.
Residents in the Gisagara district in the city center demonstrated the internet price decreased over time. We used to buy like an airtime of 500 Rwanda francs and they would not even last a day. But now, you buy internet for like 2,000 or 3,000 and they would last a month. The internet that was bought on 5,900 is now on 3,900 Rwanda francs in Mango 4G company. The same with MTN. The internet that used to be 30,000, it is now 10,000. The 2022 population and housing census demonstrated that 22.8% of private households have used internet. Nevertheless, citizens in the rural areas say that they lack internet, hence urging reinforcement in its infrastructure in rural areas. We request that everywhere we could have internet infrastructures and they reduce on prices as well. Citizens using internet in the southern province are on a 16.1%, the least rate in the country. The governor of the southern province, Alice Kaitesi, reiterates that in collaboration with various institutions, there's a stress on establishing internet infrastructures and assisting citizens in having phones that are compatible with the internet. In collaboration with Rura, MTN and Airtel, we demonstrated regions that lack satellites and those that need to be upgraded. So some regions already are being worked on, and this is all in collaboration with the telecommunication companies and Rura. Urgently solving the issues of inconsistent internet connectivity and affordability was the fourth resolution adopted in the 18th National Umushyikirano Council. The Rwanda Utilities Regulatory Authority demonstrates that there are 27 companies selling internet.
We will move ahead. In the past 30 years, electricity access in Rwanda has reached 74.5%, up from 2%. And residents who have experienced this testify that it has served as a catalyst for their social transformation. Adam Squizera has the details.
The rise in electricity supply after the genocide against Tutsi in 1994 is highlighted as a key indicator that progress is achievable, as noted by President Paul Kagame on several occasions, where he emphasized that such progress depends on the choices made by the country. Rwandans were starving, but we chose three main things, which we still focus on till today. The first thing we chose is unity, staying united instead of dividing ourselves. The second thing we chose is that we should choose what fits us and work effectively. The third thing we chose is to be future-oriented. The residents of Ngombo sector in Rusizi district expressed no doubt about the inclusivity in development, having previously believed that electricity could not extend across the Lake Kivu. We got electricity for the first time in 2010, whereas Ngombo residents used to be in darkness or light stoves because they used to tell us that the electricity can't extend across the Lake Kivu. In 2000, the rate of access to electricity in Rwanda stood at 2%, but has now surged to 74.5%, with 50.9% utilizing on-grid systems and 23.6% relying on off-grid renewable energy sources. The residents of the center of Kajugujugu in the Murunda sector of Rutsiro district are also part of those who are benefiting from those electricity. In the past 2 decades, a total of 383.4 megawatts of power generation capacity has been established, with hydroelectric power dams contributing 34%, which is 148 megawatts, thermal power plants accounting for 20%, which is 85 megawatts, and methane gas providing 18.5%, which is 75 megawatts. The remaining share is sourced from neighboring countries and 13.5%, which is supplied by renewable energy sources. The residents expressed their profound gratitude to the government, stating that they lack the words to adequately convey their appreciation for providing them electricity. We used kerosene lanterns or candles, but now we have electricity. Rwanda consumes 208 megawatts of electricity daily, while the total capacity stands at 383.4 megawatts. The demand increases by 10% annually. Minister of Infrastructure Dr. Jimmy Gasori emphasizes the ongoing efforts in electricity supply to residents as a crucial step towards achieving the country's goal. The National Strategy for Transformation, NST1, predicts that by the end of 2024, the entire population will have 100% access to electricity. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
And that's all from us here at RBA's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, many thanks for being with us. And up until next time, stay safe and we wish you a great and fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.